my oldest daughter was a sophomore in college, and I had never really thought about going to school. And then at that point I was like, wait, okay, I cannot have a daughter who has a college degree and I don't have one. So I started school. I had an English teacher at TCC who was really, really determined that I needed to major in English. And I still didn't know what I was going to do with that, because if someone had said, you'll probably end up teaching, I was like, no, because I was terrified to talk in front of a class. And then I took a class, a women's studies class, and I had to do a presentation, and it was supposed to be like 15 minutes, and the professor made me talk for the entire class period, and I made an A, and I was so proud, and I was like, oh, I think I could do this. So actually, I finished my degree before my daughter, even though she was ahead of me. I went from having nothing to having a master's degree in 4.5 years. Yay. So I worked really hard. In the semester I was writing my master's thesis, adopted 2 little girls. So then 2 years later, adopted another one. So I have grown children, and I have 3 still at home, which is why I work all of the time. I taught for 10 years at UTA, and then kind of got tired of that, so I decided to get certified, teach English, and I subbed for a year while I did that, and subbed here a couple times, and then got offered a long-term sub position here, and so I've been here since then. Yeah, I cannot imagine not being in the classroom. Even on a bad day, I like being in my classroom. I really, really love teaching, really. In total, I have 5 children, all daughters. At home still is 17-year-old, 16-year-old, and 14-year-old, and those 3 are adopted. My oldest daughter has 2 sons, and my next oldest daughter has 2 sons, so I have 4 grandchildren. My 17-year-old, of course, is a senior in high school. So she had a job, so I took her back and forth to work all the time, and I work a part-time job at night at Karen Dillard's. So it was, her getting to work, me getting to work, me getting home in time to get her home. But I feel like it's a lot of work, but overall they're good girls. We stay busy. I do my little baking business at home, cupcakes and cakes and cookies. So I read when I can. I write, still not as often as I should. So I just stay busy all of the time. 2 years ago, my daughter decided she wanted to start making cupcakes. So we got together one afternoon and started making all of these cupcakes, and they were the biggest disaster, the biggest mess. So I kept working at it and started learning how to use fondant and make my own ganache and make all my own cupcakes and my own buttercream. And people started asking me about making things for them, so I started making cupcakes for orders, and then I started making cakes. Since I'm a home baker, of course, it's just a small business. I can't ship anywhere, but word of mouth. I have one book that has been published. Okay, well, 2. One of them was self-published, so that's kind of a whole different world. But one of them that I actually had a publisher, and I have an agent. I actually do have a literary agent, and I have a collection of short stories that I've written. I have a novel that's kind of sort of being written, and I've had several short stories published. It's not like, okay, you adopt kids because I'm so unselfish. It's no, because I felt like I was really selfish because I wanted them, or I bake because I want to bake, or I teach. So I don't really feel like those are unselfish, if those are what I want.
Miss Brown was definitely one of my favorite teachers, English teachers, if anything, just because I want to be an English teacher and I want to major in English, and she definitely contributed to me wanting to do that in general. Last year we wrote college essays, and I was really nervous to turn my college essay in because it was so personal. And I don't know, I think when you're putting personal stuff out there, especially in writing, you are so worried about being judged. But Miss Brown took my essay and she read it, and she definitely didn't hold anything against me, and she told me she had written on my paper that she really admired me, and the essay made her look at me in a completely different way, and she just told me that I shouldn't underestimate myself and that I am worth everything that I am and can be. And so I think that really helped me see her not only as my teacher, but as a role model. I asked her to do my senior recommendation letter, and I know that she's so busy with everything she does, including teaching. And so the fact that she made time to write my letter was really special to me, because I know a lot of people don't get their favorite teacher to write their letters.
I know this sounds really cheesy, but to me it's kind of part of teaching. You know, if I tell them no, I'm not going to read your college essay, no, well, and I would never tell anybody no about a recommendation letter. So I mean, it's just part of it, and I'm really flattered by it.
Okay, Miss Brown and I met when she first started teaching here, and we really kind of hit it off from the very beginning because we have so many commonalities in our lives. Both of us are older moms, and trying to raise kids when you're old and tired, we have a lot of the same stories and a lot of the same feelings. Both of us have raised kids that we didn't give birth to. So it's kind of an unusual situation, but both of us are in the same situation, so it just gives us a lot of things in common. But I think the biggest thing that makes us really close friends is that she's always checking on me. She knows what's going on in my life. She takes the time to send me a text and ask, hey, how's your brother-in-law? Hey, how's your mother-in-law doing? Because she knows those stories and she knows what's going on with all of that. As a teacher, I think that she is very professional. I know that she loves the kids. She loves to pick on the kids just like I do. So that's, more stuff that we have in common is the way we kind of act dramatic and pretend we're really mad at the kids and fuss at them. And I think the kids all know that we're not really mad. It's just kind of our style. As a role model, she is the most generous, giving person I know. I mean, for her to take in 3 kids that weren't hers, and she's raising them without a husband. So she's doing that by herself as a single mom, and that to me is just a sign of strength, but also a sign of a giving, generous heart. That she would be willing to do that. Everything that I've listed, the generosity, the caring heart, professionalism, it's just a really delicate balance to have all of those characteristics in one person. And she's also always very positive and energetic.
I don't know. I guess I don't really think about it. I just feel like, okay, this is what I have to do on this day, and I do it. And then by midnight, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I can't do this anymore. And then just start over the next day.